Does it make you think about what you're accomplishing here, or maybe what you could accomplish with what's left of your Laker tenure?
I ain't said that like I'm about to.
No, I mean,
Wow, I am at a loss for words. As a Dallas native, I can truly say this was one of the biggest mistakes in the history of the Mavericks franchise. Do not trade, under any circumstance, a box office talent who can lead the league in scoring, who hasn't even entered his prime, who just led you to the NBA Finals. I can't make sense of this.
Did the Dallas Mavericks just make the biggest mistake of the 21st century? Luka Doncic has reached up to 270 pounds and the Mavericks were growing concerned, per ESPN. That was the notification I woke up to this morning. Further scrolling led to the next immediate post, a nuclear blast from Shams Charania. The Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick, sources tell ESPN. Three-team deal that includes Utah. At this point, the headline looks so shocking, my first thought was, this copycat account did a really good job of copying Shams. Even got a verified account. Imagine my shock when I saw that the account was real. No one, not LeBron James, not Anthony Davis, had any idea. Luka is still stunned by what happened. This is real. Yes, the Dallas Mavericks have indeed traded Luka to the Los Angeles Lakers for AD. This is massive. Hey, what's happening, everyone? This is Switch Culture. Now, while this trade was on no one's radar, it is in fact a trade that on the upside looks great. However, on the downside, I'm not sure that either team will truly benefit. The issue with Luka is pretty obvious, yet obscure at the same time. He's put on a lot of weight, and the team was concerned. In the case of AD, his omnipresence on the injury list has been a major issue for the Lakers. But as with everything in basketball, things are never just so simple. Let's take a look into why the Mavs got so low on Luka and why the Lakers decided to split AD up from LeBron despite AD being the 1A of the team. And watch the video till the end to find an interesting surprise that almost was. Before that, however, be sure to like the video and subscribe to Switch Culture for the most analytical and entertaining NBA content on the planet. Now get ready. You're about to get The Los Angeles Lakers traded Anthony Davis, and it's not even the biggest headline of the trade. 25-year-old Luka Doncic, a prodigy and generational player only a few months removed from taking the Dallas Mavericks to the NBA Finals, was just traded for a 31-year-old NBA player nicknamed Street Clothes. I am not sure that it is possible to have a more shocking trade. Worse yet, this was an in-conference trade. How do you even begin to make sense of this? Alright, let's take it from the top. Luka Doncic is one of the most talented players this league has ever seen.
With the third pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Luka Doncic.
As a 19-year-old rookie who didn't make the All-Star team, a move which might have been considered a snub by the league, Luka immediately set himself on a trajectory that would vault him into conversations of the greatest player in franchise history, compared to Dirk, or even possibly to ever play the game as he was compared to the likes of MJ.
Michael Jordan, greatest of all time.
I think it's a little bit too much stats, you can't compare nobody to Michael Jordan,
After 6 years in the league, not only is he a perennial superstar, he's dragged the Dallas Mavericks from a 24-win team the year before they drafted him to the NBA Finals in year 6. On his way to bringing the franchise back to relevance, he earned 5 All-Star selections and 5 All-NBA first-team appearances, cementing himself as one of the league's premier players and an untradeable asset. He even led the Mavs to the NBA's highest offensive rating a few years back and attracted superstar talent to the franchise such as Kristaps Porzingis and Kyrie Irving. By all accounts, Luka was an almost perfect draft pick and was expected to be a one-team player throughout the entirety of his career. While it seemed that all this came crashing down, there were hints before that something was wrong, and if it wasn't addressed, could eventually become a bigger problem down the road. That something was his weight. We'll get around to that in a bit, but before that, let's address the issue that has plagued Luka's career. Luka's weight wasn't his only problem. Despite leading the team offensively and taking Dallas to the finals, he was far from a perfect player.
Dobro, glih se ne oziram na to veliko. Tu so ljudje, ki glih, mislim, zmer bo to. Ali igramo odlično, zmer bo neki, ali igram slabo, bo tudi neki, tako da na to se glih ne probam fokusirati preveč.
Luka's effort on defense had always been a point of weakness for the Dallas Mavericks. Considering he's such a great offensive player, how can he be so terribly defensively to the point where teams would target him on defense? Well, the truth is what makes Luka so great on offense is exactly what makes him equally terrible on defense. Luka is a generationally effective offensive player. With the ball in his hands, he has incredible control. He has size, court vision, and plays at his own pace, throwing defenders off balance and making it look easy. While it seems amazing, this isn't exactly purely intentional. Luka's slow and deliberate drives to the basket are in fact because he is not capable of moving fast. Tie this in with his shifty handles and he can create the illusions that he's about to make a quick drive to the basket, throwing defenders to the ground and then easily making the step back three. This move is actually crucial to Luka's success. His ability to create spacing and consequently drain these deep threes on a step back forces defenders to overcommit. Having to think on their feet, defenders will have that typical mindset to think fast, read the offensive player's moves, and try to stay ahead, often to their detriment with Luka. This allows Doncic the time he needs to get to his spots, whether it be behind the arc or in the mid-range. Beyond that, with an arsenal of counter moves at his disposal and refined footwork, his moves in the post guarantee him an opening by throwing his speedy defender off as soon as he gets off his feet, giving Doncic an easy layup. He's a savant because he's not capable of moving nearly as quickly as his defenders, which is one of the major reasons Luka himself is not a very good defender. His specialty in moving slowly and deliberately does not work in stopping offensive players. A few years ago, news circulated regarding Luka Doncic gaining a ton of weight during the offseason. He managed to get his weight back under control during the season. However, each year, Luka would reach a new milestone. This didn't seem to be that big of a problem, however, until it came time to discuss Luka's latest contract extension. The latest deal between the Mavs and Doncic was rumored to be a supermax worth about $346 million in total over the next 5 years, the largest in NBA history. Dallas general manager Nico Harrison was apparently concerned about Luka's conditioning issues as the 6'8" Luka was approaching 270 pounds. By contrast, another passing savant at around the same height, LaMelo Ball, weighs 181 pounds. Doesn't seem to matter, however, as neither appear to be able to stay on the court for an entire season. It appears Harrison wasn't content to lock up Luka for the next 5 years at an average of $69 million. Based on Luka's ballooning weight issues and the impact on his performance, as well as his inability to stay on the court, the Mavs are trying to avoid a situation where they're hamstrung with a $78 million salary, the max yearly amount on the contract extension, and unable to compete because Doncic is in street clothes. This was the motive for moving Luka. Now, speaking of street clothes, it wasn't readily apparent that the Lakers were interested in trading AD. However, there were rumors that LeBron James was becoming frustrated with Davis. Bron fired back at CBS and their NBA insider sources saying, "You a lie," with the Pinocchio and clown emojis for emphasis. While I don't think stuff like that is typically made up, it could also just mean someone within the organization was fed up and wanted an out, or that LeBron himself might have been upset with AD's absence. The Lakers had just beaten the Knicks without Davis, who just missed his second game in a row and a total of 5 this season. At 31 years old and the Lakers having won just 1 championship since he teamed up with LeBron James in 2020, the team's regression has not indicated that the duo would be able to compete for a championship moving forward. It was always thought that the Lakers would need a third piece. However, the salary cap prevents the Lakers from adding anyone significant without giving up something significant of their own. Davis, aka Street Clothes, ended up being the casualty in this scenario, and I'll explain exactly why. Despite the numerical statistics when Anthony Davis plays, averaging 26 points, 12 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 1.3 steals, the Lakers don't seem to be much worse for the wear when he's not playing. With Anthony Davis this season, the Lakers are 24-18, winning 57% of their games. However, without him, they're 4-1, winning 80% of their matchups. This might not be a big enough sample size, however, as they've played much better with AD historically, garnering a 60% win rate with him and a 48% win rate without him since 2020, a number which has fluctuated over the years and has been in AD's favor up until this season. So maybe the Lakers are onto something. It is, however, a huge gamble to move either of your 1A or 1B players to hopefully compete halfway through the season. The Mavericks approached the Lakers offering Luka, which probably shocked the daylights out of Rob Pelinka. Usually, they're the ones approaching teams to make a terrible deal for themselves. Needless to say, it was a no-brainer. The Lakers met with Luka and determined that he could be the face of their franchise for the next decade. Luka this season when playing has been averaging 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists while shooting north of 35% from distance. Great, but what does this do for LeBron? I'd say this doesn't look good. If LeBron's 2 former teammates somehow team up and win a championship, both players have been considered to have similar playing styles and play practically identical positions at point forward. Neither are known for playing great defense at the moment, and both require the ball in their hands. A lot. In this trade scenario, according to the trade AI, the Mavericks get 3 more wins having acquired AD, and the Lakers lose 3 wins in the acquisition of Luka. The Mavs will now field a starting lineup of Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, and Anthony Davis. The Mavericks are clearly going all out to win a championship, and with Irving and AD leading them, they might have something. Although without Luka, it is impossible to tell at this point. It'll be a wait and see with some growing pains. The Lakers will likely have to make some additional moves. However, the overlap with LeBron prevents these players from being their best. While it isn't quite a rebuild, Luka is now in the same position where AD was 5 or 6 years ago, except with an older, aging Bron. Mostly, however, he'll have the chance to be the face of one of the league's most popular franchises. He might not be too happy, however, as now Luka will be paying up to 12% in taxes, whereas he had no income tax in Texas. He also no longer qualifies for that Supermax contract, so from a fiscal perspective, he's likely to be pretty bummed out. So much so that he might lose 50 pounds. Seems the Lakers might have lucked out here in the long run, but obviously have some issues to overcome in the short term. They're looking at a starting lineup of Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Jackson Hayes if we're just going to plug and play. It's unlikely Morris gets into the starting lineup as he just hasn't been getting much playing time all season. That, as well as his age, will likely force Redick to keep him coming off the bench. Kleba is currently injured and there is no timeline for his return, so he can't help the Lakers just yet. When he does return, he could be the Lakers stretch 5, getting some minutes in place of Dalton Connect. Otherwise, the Lakers will be looking to make some further trade moves, and they currently have their eyes on Nick Claxton and Rob Williams. This trade moves Hachimura to the bench, although I suppose it doesn't mean they find him any less valuable, just not a great fit in the starting lineup without going small. The Lakers will likely be looking at resting LeBron when the opportunity arises to see how this young group functions with Hachimura as a starter replacing LeBron James. Could this team of Reeves, Finney-Smith, Doncic, Hachimura, and Hayes be competitive? That's the question, as the Lakers will inevitably look to build around Luka. Considering Luka is a win-now player, they're definitely going to be looking at competent centers to pair with him. And that might be the final piece for the Lakers to compete for the rest of the season. They might even be inclined to move off LeBron's contract in the offseason, which creates an opening for Golden State, who's rumored to have been interested in acquiring LeBron last season. Considering the state of the Warriors and Curry, not to mention Draymond's relationship with LeBron, we might see such a lateral move by Golden State to allow LA to more quickly initiate their rebuild while giving Steph Curry a shot at another championship. With that into perspective, this move could come as soon as before the trade deadline if the Lakers can make a couple of moves. And considering Bronny is 6'2", he might earn some favors in Kerr's starting lineup. I'm sure Golden State fans are hyped to watch Bronny in a Warriors jersey. Obviously, this is only happening with LeBron's approval when you take into account his no-trade clause, but with a move like this, there's bound to be aftershocks and likely massive responses by other teams. An NBA source also said that there was one other team that the Mavericks approached to trade Luka, but was declined. There's very likely to be more insane news following this insane trade, so keep your eyes open for more updates. Who won this trade, by the way, Dallas or LA? Should LeBron hang around and play next to Luka, or should the Lakers make their move now and trade LeBron? Post your thoughts in the comments below. Before that, however, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all your notifications so you don't miss any of my latest uploads. Thanks for watching. Till next time, swish!